Imagine stable, repeatable walking with every step on flat ground. For a lot of amputees, this ideal falls out of reach at times. In this video, we're going to break down alignment and how it affects your gait. Before we get started, I want to note this is not a video of saying, hey, go in and now start tweaking your alignment if you're an amputee watching this video. That is always left up to your clinician. This video is really meant to be a good knowledge base to help you understand what your clinician is looking at so that when you are in these gait fittings and you're going through different alignment, you can help them understand what you're feeling on a deeper level. Alignment affects as much as our body as our fit does. Socket fit is the core foundation of prosthetic use, obviously, but alignment is that first building block on top of that foundation. Users can notice a massive difference with millimeters of change. Here on the left, I am walking with incorrect alignment for my X3 and Meracus foot, and on the right, I am walking with correct alignment. We're going to break both of these down a little bit further. So here we're on the incorrect alignment, and you can see the incorrect things that I have done are my socket is a little bit overextended and my foot is a little bit over plantar flex. So I'm getting that knee to trigger every time, but it doesn't look smooth. It's going to put undue forces on my knee and make me have to send that device back sooner, but it's also going to put forces on my body, my lower back especially, that aren't comfortable. We're going to be doing this breakdown on my Genius X3 from Ottobock as well as my Meracus foot from Allard USA. So obviously the X3 has specific alignment that it calls for that you can get through the Connect Go Pro app. But here you can see obviously my socket and everything has been designed for my knee. So we've got that correct alignment. This is my base bench alignment. Going back to our alignment vocabulary video, here is where, okay, I have a good starting point now, because I have gone off of the manufacturer's recommended alignment, and now we can start making some dynamic tweaks off of this. But this is really that bench alignment, that good starting point. You can see with my plumb bob there, everything is where it should be. Okay, so now we've got my bench alignment where I want it, and so, you know, feeling a little bit more comfortable already. You can see that I'm getting some good stance knee flexion here and feeling good, but I do want my setup to be just a little bit more dynamic. So the first thing I'm going to do is start it up here at the socket, and I'm going to loosen here, and then I'm going to push this one in just a little bit in the back so that I get a little bit more socket flexion. So this is taking, remember my socket here is my frontal plane. I want to just flex the socket just a little bit more so that I can have a little bit more comfortable, relaxed standing and still get that really good knee flexion. So now we're gonna lock that up and see, okay, standing. Hopefully you can see now I have just a little bit more flexion, maybe even just too much, but we'll dial that in as we go. And now I'm feeling comfortable, stable, but I'm getting good, really a lot of knee flexion. Again, probably just a little bit too much because I did just a little bit too much. So we're gonna back that off just a little bit. Okay. Good. Okay, so really right now we're focusing on the knee and the socket, obviously. Whatever you do to the knee is going to affect how it feels in your socket. So getting that good flexion really does make a difference for me. I walked on a knee that called for no flexion for a long time, and getting this flexion and then adding the stance knee flexion in as I walk really does a good job of relieving that pressure that's on my lower back so that my lower back isn't aching at the end of the day. So I feel pretty good with that alignment where it is now. Jumping down to the foot feels really good. I have it set up neutral where both manufacturers call for, but I like to make my foot just a little bit more dynamic. So the way to do that is to plantar flex it just a little bit. So we're gonna pull this out, and not a lot, like really, you know, a lot of these things take 1 or 2 turns at the very most, but there. So now we have pushed my toes down onto the ground just a little bit more, which makes me be loading my spring of my carbon foot just a little bit more as well. So that makes it so that I get just a little bit more toe off energy at that terminal stance point where the knee is releasing into swing. My foot is now pushing me just a little bit more than it was before. Again, because I plantar flexed it, pushed the foot down, and so now I am loading that spring earlier and releasing off of it sooner. Straight on, we're just looking at how that knee is tracking underneath me, and this is a little bit difficult to do on your own. Obviously, it helps to have extra pairs of eyes. I know my alignment pretty well, so if you can really pay attention here, you can see I'm landing, walking on this line, I'm landing kind of too far in. I have too narrow of a stance, right? It's like just following, not necessarily where it naturally should. So we're gonna go and just push that out just a little bit. So again, we're gonna loosen up here. And then we're gonna pull this screw out. Push this screw in just a little. So now I have moved the knee underneath me. Before it was coming down kind of on this angle. Now hopefully it's more straight up and down. It definitely feels better to me. It helps to have this line on the carpet so I can kind of stay on a path and see where things are at. But that definitely looks better, feels better to me. I think that's pretty good. So really, as far as my alignment goes, that's most of the little tweaks I want to make. We could go more in depth on what this looks like, changing things, even down to the socket lamination of where this plate is mounted, and obviously it's mounted in the correct place for this knee. But I want to save that for a fab video down the road a little bit. But you can see, like, now I am walking a lot more confidently and feeling pretty good about where things are at. I'm getting good stance knee flexion and feeling confident there. The foot is tracking underneath me correctly. I don't need to invert or evert that really, because a lot of that we did up at the top at the knee. So the foot's landing flat, I'm getting good rollover there. It does make a difference to have that alignment be where it needs to be, and then just building off of that dynamic gait alignment as you go through it. Again, this is a really small example of how much goes into your alignment. Like I was saying earlier, there are a lot of things in the fabrication of your socket that come into play when we're talking about alignment, where that plate is located and everything else. And that really does make probably the first and biggest difference. But then going through the bench alignment, understanding the neutral bench alignment, and then making the knee and the foot more dynamic based off things like plantar flexing the foot just a little bit, flexing the socket just a little bit, are all things that as you become a more experienced walker and are feeling comfortable on your device and how it operates, that when you add those things in, again, it brings more comfort to the rest of my body, right? I get a little bit more energy return out of my foot, so I don't have to do quite as much work with my sound side to swing my knee through, or with my hip and everything else. And then I have that little bit of extra flexion in my socket, which means standing right now, my knee is locked, I'm relaxing on it fully, and my back isn't killing me trying to keep my knee locked out, different things like that. One more time, I want to have a little disclaimer here. This is not a video for you to go and like, okay, I'm in my living room, start tweaking my alignment. No, this is really based off of going to your professional, communicating with your professional, and understanding the different things that you might need as you continue to progress through and become a better walker. And then you can communicate those things fully. Other than that, I hope that this has been helpful and beneficial, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.